Hello everyone and welcome to the Action Figure-atorium. My name is Mark Major. I am a real big toy collector here in Southeast Portland. I like to collect toys. I like to customize toys. I like to do toy photography. And today we're going to be looking at another set of customs that I did. I'm really into doing these custom speeder bikes. They're easy to do, they're cheap to get. You can make kind of a whole set for a gang of guys. We're going to look at some of the ones I made in the past, in addition to the ones that I'm going to be showing off today. We made a couple of speeder bikes for those 80s vintage toys, the Lone Ranger Tonto action figures, the 3.75 scale with the bowed legs so they could sit on the horses. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Maybe you're not quite as old as me. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great channel and a great way to learn about old toys from the past and check out some customs that we're doing right now that can make the old toys cool. So I want everybody to come together today, strap on the leather and hold on tight. Before we show off these new speeder bikes, I think we should do a bit of a tour, as it were, of some of the older speeder bikes so we get up to date onto all the different creations I've pumped out. I've made some videos on some of these, not quite all, so this could be kind of a cool thing in itself. Switch over to desktop cam. So this is a shot from my Instagram. Originally, I started off making some of these speeder bikes for some World War II Joy Toy figures that I have, and I used this kind of World War II German camo scheme that they called ambush. It's a sort of a brown, green, and a yellow, and there's a couple of soldiers there on them. In fact, let's look at another shot. I did a 3-pack. You get to see there's sort of 2 normal sized ones, and then you've got the officer on kind of the big giant dog. And this is part of my world building that includes sort of this weird war, this World War II diesel punk kind of thing that I've got going on with World War II soldiers, but they've got this Star Wars technology that looks like it's in the right kind of place. So these are the first ones that I made. Then I decided that I needed to deck out another set for my Deutsche Afrika Korps. That was the German army that was in North Africa in World War II. So it's guys in these sort of, brown trench coats, and they've got the sort of the brown, tan, tropical uniforms and the desert goggles. And here they are on a trio of bikes. Again, I've got the 2 normal size ones, the officers on the big giant dog there. And I really like this picture because it's kind of a fun sort of a Far Side story of you've got this Jawa out in the desert, and look, he's stealing a barrel of oil. And just great stuff, fun to do these kinds of goofball photography with this. But this was the second set that I made. Then, of course, I moved over to doing things that were not necessarily World War II. This one is inspired by the General Lee. I call this motorcycle speeder bike, I call this one Outlaw Country because it's got this sort of Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings looking dude that I have driving it. And here he is getting hassled by some stormtroopers. But after this, I decided that with a pair of early 80s 3.75 Lone Ranger Tonto action figures I have, that I would do a set of speeder bikes because these figures have these weird bowed legs for sitting on a horse, right? They don't stand up that well, but they do sit amazingly well, and they're the perfect figures to go on these speeder bikes. And so I decided to make a Lone Ranger horse and a Tonto horse, and let's check this out. Here is my Lone Ranger. And for those of you that don't know, in the original Lone Ranger series that I believe was started as a 30s radio show and then became a TV show in the 50s, they even tried to reboot it as kind of a movie with Johnny Depp as Tonto and Armie Hammer as the Lone Ranger a few years ago. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may have known it came out. But the scoop is that the Lone Ranger, the masked man, was a type of lawman who was ambushed, and he survived. Tonto nursed him back to health. And he decided to hide his identity and to become kind of the original Batman. There, I said it, the original Batman. hides his identity, hides behind a mask. He's sort of a vigilante guy. And he rides a white horse that is called Silver. And I thought, well, since this is a machine and we can paint it any color we want, let's actually paint it silver, since that's the name of his horse. Here's another shot of it, and this is really easy. All you got to do is just take apart one of these speeder bikes, which is pretty simple to do, and of course paint it silver. That easy. Now for the Tonto Scout horse, for those of you that don't know, he rode this horse that you could describe as being brown with some white spots. In some cases, it looks like it's a white horse with some brown spots, but he's got kind of this white thing on the face, right? That's a big part of how they like to depict Scout, the name of his steed. And so let's check his out. There we go. And I decided that right here I would do the little kind of like the face, I would do the white little marking in the front. And this is real sort of just blasted on. This is not like some high detailed thing. The idea behind a lot of my customs is to make them look sort of used and greasy. I think that's a real kind of cool way to go. Let's see, I got maybe another shot of it up close here. And as I go, I'm going to kind of let these things age and weather and grease them up even more. I think that's kind of a cool idea. And let's see, what is next? There's the pair right there. There they are doing it. And if you want to see a shot of these guys in action, here they are out on the desert. Look at that. That's what they look like roaming. And so this is actually a picture I posted February 12th, 2024. That's how long I've been sitting on these guys. The Tonto Lone Ranger. Always like to stay ahead of the crowd, as they say. Oh, too far. Let's go back one. There we go. And so here is Tonto on his bike, and he's racing a sort of Lone Ranger Tonto, probably 1950s, maybe early 60s tin friction toy. You pull it back and it goes forward. So kind of a cool homage. There you go. And well, more Instagram. If you guys aren't familiar with the Action Figuratorium Instagram, it is just Action Figuratorium. And I recommend that you follow along. And if you follow me on the Instagrams, in fact, look, you want to see some production level of the show, check it out, people. Lower thirds going off all the time. If you actually give me a follow, tell you what, I will follow you back. How about that? Who doesn't guarantee that kind of, that kind of sort of close relationship? I'm willing to check you out if you're willing to check me out. So what do you guys think of these sort of lo-fi, low-ball, quick down and dirty customs for Lone Ranger and Tonto? They look great sitting on them, better than they look standing. I think that that's kind of a coup in itself, but I don't know. You guys let me know. Maybe they're complete garbage and crap. I'm willing to listen to just about any argument. So with that, thanks to everybody who made it this far into the video. If you're not liking and subscribing, well, do what you want to do on your own time. But until then, stay charged, people.